Well, well, well. We meet at last, Riley J. Dennis, if that is your real hair. I've been circling around this sinkhole of psychosis for far too long. Time to take the plunge.
Would you date someone who's trans?
Nope.
Would you date someone who's black?
Maybe.
Would you date someone who's fat?
It depends on how you define fat. If we're talking a few pounds overweight, a little bit here and there, probably so. If we're talking they envelop their chair, then probably not.
Would you date someone who's disabled?
If you're talking somebody with no arms, no legs, just baking on the hot sidewalk, her name would be Patty, of course, then probably not. If you're talking somebody who's blind, yeah. Deaf, yeah. Missing a limb, yeah. Mute, abso-fucking-lutely. That would be the man's holy grail right there. A hot chick who can't talk. The views expressed by the host in this video are not necessarily those of anyone.
Now, honestly, I don't know what your answer is to those questions, but I've met a surprising number of people who would say no to all or at least some of them. Their argument is that it's just a preference and that you can't control who you're attracted to.
That's exactly what it is, and you sure as hell are not going to give me some moralizing lecture on how I'm wrong to have a preference.
Most of the time that this is brought up, it's in regards to race.
Is it? Is it really?
I'll link to a couple really good videos in the description about racial dating preferences, but in this video, I want to talk about our other biases. Let's start with trans people. Would you date a trans person?
Nope.
Honestly?
Oh, gee, you caught me. I'm lying. I really want to date trans people. I've been hiding it this whole time. Fuck you.
Think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer? Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory.
Goddamn right it is discriminatory. But so the fuck what? I discriminate all the time based on my personal preferences. I discriminate my different types of food. I discriminate by the people I hang out with. It is not an immoral act to discriminate on your preferences. We're talking about finding the person you're going to spend your entire goddamn life with. What's immoral is if I told other people who they should be spending their entire goddamn life with. Except I would tell them not to spend it with you.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're a horrible person who hates trans people.
Fuck you aren't. The fuck you aren't. That's exactly what you're trying to say. You don't put this whole goddamn video up there and say, wow, that's pretty discriminatory, and look down your nose at us if you didn't think that it was wrong for people to have that preference. You are full of shit.
There was probably a time in my life when I said I wouldn't date a trans person, but since then I've thought critically about it and changed my mind.
I have been to the Holy Church of the SJW and I have seen the light.
Could sit here and show you photos of conventionally attractive trans people. There are definitely trans people who you would never know are trans unless they told you, because they pass for cis.
Yeah, until they pull a crying game on your ass, right? Look, if they pass for cis, then it feels kind of fundamentally dishonest if you're assuming they are something that they are not.
And that might convince some of you, but I think arguing that you would only like a trans person if you didn't know they were trans is a poor argument.
For once, you and I agree.
I think you could be attracted to any trans person, whether they pass or not.
And I think you could be attracted or not attracted to somebody for reasons other than bigotry.
I think the main concern that people have in regards to dating a trans person is that they won't have the genitals that they expect.
You know, it's pretty laughable when people who have built up their whole identity around sexual preference fetishes lecture us on not having the same preferences. It's okay that we don't have those preferences. It's okay that you do. I don't care. But don't tell us how we're wrong.
Because we associate penises with men and vaginas with women.
That's because men have penises and women have vaginas. It's one of the defining characteristics of each of the sexes. It's just biology, dude. It's not something that we are creating from on high, like somebody's writing it down in a document and that's what makes it happen.
Some people think they could never date a trans man with a vagina or a trans woman with a penis. But I think that people are more than their genitals. I think that you could feel attraction to someone without knowing what's between their legs.
That's because they wear pants. Look, I'm going to have a certain type of attraction for a certain type of person. And it's not going to be because I happen to see what's between their legs. It's going to be a woman, and they're going to have a certain physique or body type that I'm going to like. And then I'm going to get to know them and get attracted to them, to their inner self, which is going to make them much prettier in my eyes. It's still a woman, though, and I'm going to have pretty reasonable assumptions of what's between their legs. And it's not going to be because all of a sudden they have a dick hanging there.
And if you were to say that you're only attracted to people with vaginas or people with penises,
which is pretty much the entire human fucking race,
it really feels like you're reducing people just to their genitals.
Oh, for God's sakes, I've opened myself up to half the population of planet Earth. That's not enough for you? I'm not allowed to just have that preference? I'm reducing people now to their genitals? Look, I just want to follow the normal, standard biological mating practices that generally puts a man and a woman together for a relationship because I'm just wired that way. I'm not asking you to change how you are, but you certainly are looking down on me for how I am.
You're kind of objectifying them, but you're thinking of them more as genitals than objects.
No, I'm not. You're just really reaching now.
So I guess you're kind of genitalifying them?
Well, damn it, all the good isms were taken, but Riley Dennis wants to be at the ground floor of a brand new ism called genitalism.
Anyway, my point is, we have implicit biases that we were raised with or that we developed over time.
Yeah, they're biological preferences. They weren't raised with, or I didn't have this put into me. I'm not a blank slate. I'm not a damp sponge just soaking up information. And you certainly can't sit there and tell conservative Christians that there's no way they could pray the gay away because that's how they were made, that's how they were born, and you can't just change it, and then tell me that all of my preferences are raised that way. They were put on me. They were society. You can't have it both ways, fucker.
And they can be hard to get rid of. And I think this can be especially prominent within the queer community. Gay men often pride themselves on being disgusted by vaginas, and the same goes for lesbian women with penises. It's difficult because some queer people have built their sexual identities on these repulsions, but I don't think they're innate at all.
They're not? Are you saying they can pray the gay away?
If you met someone who was extremely attractive, had a great personality, but didn't have the genitals that you wanted, you might be surprised to find that it isn't a deal breaker.
Riley, you have no idea the depths of my surprise would actually be.
As someone who is trans and gay, sometimes people ask me with a very accusatory tone,
you mean like that one you started the whole fucking video with?
If I would date a girl with a penis. Because there's this stereotype that trans lesbians are just predatory cis men creeping on cis women. But the thing is, I absolutely could be attracted to a woman with a penis.
You could be attracted to a woman with a penis. Riley, that's called a man.
I could be attracted to any woman, cis or trans. If I find you attractive, I don't care what you have down there. But we know that sexual orientations are more innate than learned. They're more nature and less nurture. Gay conversion therapy has been proven not to work.
I just talked about that, and you said it wasn't innate, and now you're saying it is. What the fucking pick one?
But you can unlearn your own prejudices.
And this is the crux of Riley's whole video. You as a cis person have prejudice. Gay people and transgender people do not. So you, following the same preferences that you've always had, are prejudiced and bigoted. But those who are already gay or trans have transcended and have been enlightened. I feel like I'm being interviewed by a cult member. Well, that's all I got for this one. Guys, enjoy. Hopefully I'll have another one coming up in the next few days. Well, this YouTube site has been fun to create. So, there's a Twitter for you there. Why don't you reach me at YodaCon? There's my email. You can reach me at nationalistyoda@gmail.com. If you find a video out there you'd like me to respond to or to take apart, be more than happy to take a look. And know that I'm equal opportunity. And if you like this video, please share it. And for God's sakes, there's a subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. And if you could tell your friends, look, I'm begging, all right? Just deal with it. I'm just begging you. Just come on, grow the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.